Okay, so today's video didn't go as planned. I went, recorded it, and long story short, you need to check your equipment before you go through the video. I probably spent about 3-4 hours recording this custom water loop just to find out that my microphone was not working properly. Why wasn't it working properly? Because it wasn't plugged in properly, which is my fault. So instead of doing this video the way I had initially planned, where I had the build and some showing some of the troubles and things I have to do, we're gonna have to do a lame montage. Yeah, just one of those, which they're not too lame, but they can be if they're not done right. So I don't know. So it's done. I did the custom water loop from China. Well, what happened was when I first did this build, the pump, which I don't know if I have it here anymore. Let's find it. There we go. This pump was bad. This is the pump that came with it, and yeah, so couldn't really use it. Could not get it to work no matter what I did, no matter how hard I tried, couldn't get it to work. So that sucked. So I got in touch with the company. The company gave me 20% off for the placement of the pump. I mean, it's only a $70 kit, so can't get too greedy, which was cool. So I got $14 back. And then I bought this one for $30. This one is the Freeze Mod. Let's see if I get it in there. There we go. Bought this by Freeze Mod. I mean, not a bad pump. Pretty quiet for the most part. Just sounds like maybe 1200 RPM fan. So the pump actually worked pretty good. When I started working with it, I ran into a few issues, which you'll see, which I'll explain that after the montage and everything. But for the most part, everything worked pretty good on it. And so let's go straight into the montage, and then I'll talk about some of the issues and everything that I had to do to get this working. All right, so as you can see, it wasn't too bad to put together. So let's talk about some of the issues that I had trouble with. See if we can get this in with the camera. If you look, if you can see and I don't want to take this apart because I'm still doing some other tests with it, but as you can see, this bracket right over here for the CPU block actually has these little pins over here, and they were actually sticking out too much. I guess that's for the AMD if you want to go AM4 or whatever, and it was hitting the VRM heatsink. So had to take a hammer, which hopefully I did capture that in the montage, and bend it and kind of smack it just to get clearance over there. Then the second issue that you run into is let's see if I can move these cables over here, is if you look, the heatsink, let's see if I can get these cables, I got such a mess, there we go. If you look, this side of the bracket actually blocks number 1 of the memory, which is not a big deal. We could just move them to 2 and 4, still get our dual channel. But if I had to use all 4 channels, I'd have to bend this too. And then once you bend it, you can't use the AM4. I have no idea what motherboard that they used when they designed the CPU block, what motherboard they had in mind, because it obviously wasn't this one. But using this motherboard, if I need to go back, want to use it for AMD build, pretty much screwed. I mean, bending these things back, and then, yeah, you're going to have a nightmare with that. So that was one of the issues. Next issue was there was no instructions on how to set up the mounts for it. So pretty much it was a screw, washer from the back, and then put a, whatchamacallit, the nuts, what do you call it? The little circle nuts you can see right over here. Yeah, these little circle nuts over here. And then I put the spring, another washer, all that stuff. So it's secure. It's has a good contact. That's all that matters. So that was one of the first trials into it. The second issue that I ran into it is that when I turned it on, this pump did not want to work. I mean, I thought I had another bad pump. I don't know what it was. I filled it up with water, didn't run it dry, and it still didn't want to work. And finally, after just kind of banging this thing up and down, the pump kicked on. Don't know what the deal was with that. So my loop, I just ran it from the bottom so I could keep the top open so I could keep them full. Ran them from going into the block, from the block to the radiator, back into the pump. That's the kind of loop I went to. There are videos that show it doesn't really matter what loop you use, what order the setup it was. This one was the one I worked on it. Another trouble I had was bleeding this thing. I mean, bleeding this thing was a nightmare. I mean, it's just opening and closing and shaking the radiator, and after, stopping and starting it, I was finally able to get it to bleed and cool efficiently. Another issue I had when I got this thing, and I wish, like I said, I probably should have taken this apart. This had a lot of scratches and gouges on it. The CPU block had a lot of scratches and gouges on it, and wasn't the best surface on it. I probably have to lap it if I want to get better temps, but we'll talk about that in just a second. So yeah. The fans actually blow a pretty good amount of airflow on it. I mean, I'm getting a nice good breeze on it, and they're really quiet. So for these cheap fans, I'm kind of impressed with it. The only thing I don't like is, once again, Molex. I mean, you get Molex. It is what it is with Molex. I mean, nothing I can do about that. This CPU block also is plugged in by Molex and has a 4-pin for whatever, I don't know. But it's Molex, and it is what it is. I actually would not personally take this and put it into my personal build. My i7 8700K would not do it. It's not that I don't trust it. It's just it's not gonna give me the performance I want. I think my air cooler Be Quiet will definitely outdo this any day of the week right now. So yeah. So overall, the build, the quality of it, it's okay. I mean, it's not the best, but it is what it is. I mean, what do you expect for like 70 bucks? I mean, the first red flag should have been that the pump died on the way in. So. Been doing this torture test for about 12 minutes now, and as you can see, my temperatures, let's pull up hardware info. I'm using AIDA 64. That's just what I like to use. Let's see if I can get this thing pulled up. Yes, I know that. Come on. All right, so let's get my temperatures pulled up over here, which I should have on. Let me bring these things down. So these are the temperatures that I'm getting, and they're not the most accurate, to be honest with you, because it's actually probably maybe 40 degrees Fahrenheit in my garage right now. It's a cold morning, so it's running 54 degrees Celsius, so I would probably add a 10 to 15 degree delta, so if it was more ambient room temperature. So yeah, overall the cooling performance is not bad. Actually, when this thing boots up, I mean, considering that it's 40 degrees in here, this thing was showing 18, 16 degrees, and then it's popped up through AIDA 64, and AIDA 64 puts a pretty good amount of stress on it. So I could run Cinebench, but I don't know. I didn't feel like doing it. Decided to use this one. So overall, it wasn't too bad, like I said. A few things I don't like. The pump, like I said, it sucked that it didn't work, but it was real cheap anyways. And this just having the scratches and gouges in it. The tubings, they fit great, no leaks whatsoever. This does come with a GPU block, and I didn't use the GPU block on it because, well, I'm running this, and I'm pretty sure I can't adapt it. If I was to run the GPU block on this, what I'd probably have to do is, especially for this is an R9 380, I'd have to put the GPU block, and then once I do that, I need to get little heat sinks for this. And once I get the little heat sinks for the fans, then I could put some type of passive air cooling on it. So I'd have to come up with something, and well, honestly, it's not worth the trouble for what it is. But I have another plan that I'm actually going to use for that one, so stay tuned, because I actually am going to do this loop with the GPU block on it, and so yeah, stay tuned for that, and we'll try to do something cool over there. But overall, it wasn't too bad. So for what, $70, $80, was it worth the money? Yes and no. Yes, in the fact that it was a great learning experience. I got more comfortable and a better understanding of custom water loop, which is great. I mean, I was skeptical and kind of afraid of it, but I see how to do it, do's and don'ts. So very happy with that. Is it worth it for a personal rig or just building it for a client or customer? Considering that pump died upon arrival, yeah, I would not want to put that in a customer's build. I mean, overall, the radiator quality, not too bad. These fans are actually pretty decent. I don't like the Molex, but we could get adapters and hide those pretty good. So that's where I'm at with it. So comment down below, let me know what you think, your experiences, recommendations, things you would have done different, your opinions of different cheap, affordable kits. Am I gonna get into custom water loop cooling? I actually might get into it. So yeah, so like I said, comment down below, stay tuned, got some more other videos I'm gonna be doing with this custom water loop cooling, there we go. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Let's see what we come up with next.